Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra Kane. I hope you're having a great day. I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yule Brenner. Today, we're going to be talking about illegal immigrants close to getting reparations as Black folks live in Los Angeles, California sewers. Now, of course, this is a continuation of the conversation that we had yesterday, as I said, and I'm going to continue talking about this because even after yesterday until this moment, I don't see enough people really mad about this at all. And I'm kind of pissed off again. But nevertheless, the purpose of the Demetra K show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, Big Giant, thank you. Hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Also, to my wonderful moderators, thank you for all that you do in holding down the comment section. Donovan, what say you?
What say me is this dog is driving me damn crazy. But outside of that, I say welcome to the Demetra K show, guys. Great to have you guys back. Had a wonderful, wonderful conversation yesterday. If you guys did miss it, and if you guys were good enough to share it on your platforms and your groups, we greatly appreciate that. But let's get into it. Before we get into it, if you want to continue to have these great conversations, there's a scrolling banner at the bottom. And if you want to donate, there's ways you can do that. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Hey, Demetra gets up really, really early. She's a coffee drinker. She went down to Costa Rica and got the 411 on how the coffee is made and what you're supposed to, what the coloring of it is. If you want to buy Demetra a coffee, please feel free to do that. Also, do not forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get it on Google Play, Apple Store. There you will get the Emancipation Channel, original content from Brother Phil Scott, Vicki Dillard, Demetra K, Juan Gale, and a whole host of other contributors to the channel there, to the app there. Also, do not forget, fellas, do not forget the African Diaspora News Channel crew. This year, in tandem with their partner, they will be going to the beautiful country of Brazil. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, I haven't really decided yet. If Donovan goes, that's it for me. It'll be over. You won't see Donovan again other than long-term videos somewhere in Brazil. I'm never going to come back. So again, if you guys are interested in that, I believe they still have some spots. Don't quote me on that, but you can go ahead and join that aspiration if they still have spots available. Also, it's the end of the school year coming up for our high school seniors. What better way to keep them in contact is give them the knowledge of what's going on around the African diaspora. And you can do that by donating and giving to them the African Diaspora News Channel app, Google Play, Apple Store. So this is going to be interesting, Demetra. Let's continue and get into it.
Absolutely. And Brother James, thank you for becoming a member for 3 months. Love and appreciate you on that. He says, please play Farrakhan videos on reparations. There's so many of them. I actually saw one yesterday. I just have to gather them, but I did see one yesterday really interesting, to say the least. But thank you once again. All right, so let's get into it. And I'll say hello to everybody once I get done. But nevertheless, of course, you guys know yesterday we had a conversation about Representative Pramila Jayapal from Washington. She's there in Congress, and she basically was advocating for reparations for illegal immigrants due to them being traumatized by the Trump administration and the ICE raids, and things like that. Now, I'm going to show y'all a video, the recap, and I showed it a bunch of times yesterday because I know a lot of people were coming in kind of late, and it was like, what, for real? Kind of saying it was unbelievable type thing. So I'm going to show y'all the video, and then I'll continue on.
Jayapal lays it out really well when she talks about reparations.
And we also need offensive actions around prosecutions. We need real accountability because at the end of the day, the people that have been inflicting this harm need to be prosecuted. They need to be brought before us and they need to be held account for the trauma that they have created, and we are going to have some form of reparation for the kids and the families that have been traumatized through all of this.
Okay, so again, that was her saying that there's going to need to be some form of reparations for the kids and the families that have been traumatized by Trump and the ICE raids and things like that. Now, of course, she says that when and if the Democrats get back into power, because as you guys know, the Republicans are kind of running Washington right now. Although I just learned that about 36 Republicans are not going to be seeking re-election come the midterm. So that's going to be very interesting. But nevertheless, she says that when they're back in power, reparations will be on the table, in addition to ICE agents and I guess whoever else will have to go before them and be held responsible for what they have done, again, exacting trauma on the illegal immigrants. Now, Representative Jayapal, she immigrated here in 2000. So she's been here about 26 years. She has been in the House of Representatives since 2019 until now. So she's, fairly new here in the country now. Before she got to Washington, she was a part of a civil rights group called One America, where they advocated for immigrants and their rights and things like that. And so she's just continuing on with that now that she is in Washington. Now, of course, I have seen this conversation kind of all over the internet, but I don't think people are really mad enough about it. I think this is going to be one of those things, unfortunately, that we kind of talk about, but it kind of goes away. Right now, the Democrat shields, they are crashing out over Nick Cannon, saying that the KKK or was it the KKKs started with the Democrat Party, and they're mad at Chile from TLC because they found out that she made some donations to MAGA. And then I guess she did, but she didn't, from what she was saying, posted some picture of Michelle Obama being depicted as a man. So I've heard the Breakfast Club, they gave a Nick Cannon Donkey of the Day. I was listening to Ricky Smiley this morning, and Roland Martin called in, and they're talking about Chile and what she did and what she said. Again, I haven't seen anybody talking about this representative wanting reparations for illegal immigrants. Okay, so yesterday we had this conversation about what's going on in Los Angeles, California, where a lot of people were shocked to learn that there are people living in sewers. Well, there were anyway. Now, I was having this conversation with my daughter. She says, well, you remember that was a thing in Las Vegas as well, people living in sewers. So I'm going to show y'all a snippet that I put together explaining what's going on. And then you're also going to hear from Karen Bass toward the end of this. So here we go.
And disturbing discovery in South Los Angeles. Some homeless now living underground inside the city's sewer system just to survive. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf joining us live after witnessing these conditions firsthand. Matthew.
Yeah, Christine, this is bad, and the area isn't safe either. We actually had to drive a few miles away just for safety reasons for this live shot. But the things we saw, we won't forget. An up-close, exclusive look underground at living conditions too extreme for words. It's hard to imagine someone living in there. Trash, human waste, and an overpowering stench. I gotta get back. Just moments earlier, we watched someone climb out of that storm drain using the sewer as shelter. Water and food? Her answer's hard to understand. But the area, 88th and South Grand, overwhelmed with RVs, tents, and trash.
Hello, yes.
Juan Nala with the nonprofit Clean LA with me was picking up garbage here Monday.
We got a lady living down there.
When he saw not one, but two people emerge from the storm drain.
I can explain that. You know, a person living like a rat, worse than a rat. Come on.
Hello. And just 2 weeks ago, it happened again.
Somebody's living in there.
Another street in South LA, another person living underground.
It's a human being. Why are we accepting this? Why? All the officials, they have to do something. They have to fix this problem.
It pisses me off. That's why I was like, what y'all doing? Finna tell them to clean it up?
Neighbors angry, say they've reported the problems, but feel ignored.
Like, we need job help. We need that money. The public here need that.
A shocking snapshot of survival at its lowest point.
This person doesn't deserve to live like this. Not even the neighbors.
So I just got a statement from the mayor's office about 5 minutes ago.
Such a tragedy to find out that there are people in our city living in storm drains.
The mayor now responding, saying the drain is sealed.
And so I think that people use a variety of different strategies to hide. That is probably by far the most tragic that I have ever heard of.
Okay, so again, you have seen that there are people literally living in storm drains in Los Angeles, all throughout the city, from Canoga Park, Griffin Park, South LA, South Central is what it is really, but South LA is what they call it now. And you saw the mayor there. She's kind of appalled and shocked in a sense that that's going on. But again, people living in sewers or storm drains is not new. But the real issue is, especially I think it was 2 years ago or so, where the United States Supreme Court said, well, yeah, you know, cities and states, they can't arrest people, throw them in jail for living on sidewalks and parks and things like that. Now, the controversy, especially there in Los Angeles, California, is that there was an initiative from Governor Newsom called the Home Key Initiative, where it sounds like $2.6 billion were given to purchase or renovate hotels, motels, and dorms. But it kind of seems like maybe that wasn't the case as much. There's a lot of people calling for an investigation to see what happened to that money. Now, the people that were living under the in the storm drain or whatever it is, they relocated them to, I guess, temporary housing and things like that. Now, that particular Black woman that you saw coming out of the sewer, it sounds like, and I don't have her name, but she was a singer or something like that. And her family, they know that she is there. And her mother says that she talks to her all the time. I guess she has some mental health issues. And they really can't make her do one thing or the other. So it sounds like that's what her situation is. But again, when you hear this representative Jayapal talking about she wants to get reparations for illegal immigrants who came over here on their free will, and then you hear the juxtaposition that you have people who are homeless who are sleeping in sewers. In fact, they said that there's about 20 people that they found underneath there. And some of them said that they had been living like that for like 20 years, right? They had spoken to one lady and she had been like that for 20 years. So to hear Karen Bass, act like she's surprised, I don't know about that. But Rick Caruso, who ran for mayor when Karen Bass won, he's just pissed. He's like, there's just no way. I'm sorry. This is unacceptable. People saying they didn't know, and we got people living like this. And listen, if you've been to California, especially Los Angeles, it's not a secret to anybody that there is a homeless problem. You could be leaving Venice Beach, cross right over, Venice Beach is really nice and all that, and literally cross the street. And it's just homeless encampments everywhere. And so a lot of the residents, they have an issue with that for obvious reasons, right? Because not to be disgusting, but when you're homeless, you can't really use the bathroom wherever you want. So you use it wherever you are, type of thing, right? So with that, we also know that Black Americans are the most homeless anywhere in the country, especially there. Disproportionately, I should say, in Los Angeles, California. But you hear the Democrats, the Jayapal, talking about she is going to be fighting for reparations for illegal immigrants. And I don't think she's by herself. I think that's a conversation that they have had amongst themselves. Of course, when y'all saw the video I showed you, you saw one of the women next to her shaking her head in agreement. But as I said, I don't see anybody mad about it. I haven't seen anybody talk about it. I saw that Roland Martin, he's going to be cussing out, well, I'm assuming, cussing Nick Cannon out on his show tonight. He says that he is going to be addressing it. And so I'm like, you got all the smoke for Chili, Nick, and whoever else, but nothing for the Democrats who want to give reparations to illegal immigrants, while Black Americans are constantly being told no, that we cannot have reparations because they can't afford it. They don't have the money. But somehow they're going to find the money for illegal immigrants when illegal immigrants have already gotten reparations, whether it's housing, food, money, you name it. They've already gotten a form of reparations. Yeah, they've already got all of that, but yet they're going to fight to give them some more and hold the people accountable for locking them up. But Black folks are still waiting for a hate crime bill, a police reform, and a whole host of other things. But there's that woman who just got here in 2000 talking about what she going to get for illegal immigrants. It's crazy. Donovan?
You've pretty much, I don't know what you can say in a situation like that. Now, here, I live 60 miles east of Los Angeles, 60 miles east. So for the last 20-something, 30 years, what Los Angeles and the Inland Empire has been doing is they've been playing a shell game. They've been moving the homeless out to the Inland Empire. They give them a bus ticket, and these people come out here. It's like a seasonal thing. And then, we give them a bus ticket and ship them back. Now, we have all these events that's going to be coming to LA within the next 3 years. These are big events: World Cup, Super Bowl. What else is coming here? The Olympics, all this great stuff. And of course, if all these great things are coming to the great city of Los Angeles, you don't want the world to see all of these homeless people running around, these mentally ill people running around, and seeing the truth of what California has really become. It's a musician's trick, and it's a shell game. And they've been doing this for 30 years. You talk to anybody who's lived in California that hasn't fled from here or has fled to your city, they will tell you, yeah, they just ship the homeless back and forth and back. Now, I have a political friend here who comes from a very prestigious political family here in the Inland Empire. And out here 2 years ago, he reported to the city that there were people living in the sewers in my city. And it wouldn't be a surprise. These people were either, transfer LA people or whatever they're doing, because, you got to have knowledge to know how to do that. And it's very hot out here in the desert where I live. But what more can you guys say? And I want you guys to think about this. And when you're talking to your Democratic friends and your liberal friends, Gavin Newsom is the current mayor of California. Kamala Harris is from California. These two people are homies. You guys want these people to be president of the United States? Have you seen what California actually looks like at its core base? Blacks are less than 6% of the population and still fleeing from here. After seeing that video of that woman and those people popping up out of the drain, what can you really say? I mean, right now, I'm trying to be as calm as possible, because every time I see that video, I get upset. I am highly upset, and it has nothing to do with being a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, a communist, this, whatever it is. It's about being a human being. Being a human being coming out of the sewers in the United States of America. And like I've said, Demetra said, and a whole host of other Black channels have said, Black people as a whole are the most homeless in the United States, being Black women and children being number one out of all groups. And in California, Blacks are the most homeless. And what does Karen Bass and the Black leadership do about it? Zero. And people wonder why I go off. Big ups to Danny C. and Jessica Jackson in Chicago. They have shown the homeless in Chicago, you know what they do? They ride the damn trains all day to stay warm or whatever they need to do. And when you see pictures of the people on the train, they're mostly Black people. And this is a hardcore Democratic city. But we're the ones causing the problems and the ruckus. I want to hear what you guys got to say, because I mean, just seeing that just makes me totally upset.
Yeah, and hello to everybody. And like Brother James said, I mean, we vote for that. That's what's really appalling, and we're going to continue to do it. And the regular Democrat shields, they're going to continue to try to throw Chili and Nick Cannon and all of them under the bus. Chili and Nick Cannon ain't got no power. This woman sitting up here talking about fighting for reparations for illegal immigrants. She's got the power, but they want everybody to be focused on Chili and Nick Cannon. And as Malcolm X said, why do we hold, in a sense, right, entertainers to such high esteem? I ain't never had Chili lead me nowhere but to some waterfalls or something. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm just saying, right? Or Nick Cannon. That's what I look for them for, entertainment. I don't look for them for, any sense of political, anything, But see, the other thing is this with the Democrat Party. Y'all use celebrities the most, do they not? Whether it's Kamala bringing out Megan, Cardi, or whoever else, right? They're big with entertainers. I know Republicans do it too, but not like the Democrats. But then when the entertainers start speaking politically, it's like, oh, well, y'all got to be canceled. It's like, but you don't have a problem carting them out on stage, to endorse you. So it's like, pick a struggle or whatever the case is. But yeah, I mean, we continue to vote for that. And like I said, the Democrat shields, they want to keep us distracted and keeping us tied to the plantation. And never mind this woman wanting to give what's due to us to illegal immigrants. Again, illegal immigrants mean that they are here illegally and they are breaking and have broken the law and they want to compensate them for doing that. Keep that in mind, right? Primo, how you doing? Your last comment, I couldn't put that up there. You says these people forget they have to stand in front of God Almighty one day to answer for everything they did on earth. You ain't lying. Brother Samuel, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. It says greetings, D&D. Did you hear the great Bob Law passed away? Who's Bob Law? So he was largely responsible for my college rise to consciousness. I don't know if I know who Bob Law is. If you don't mind, refresh my memory, or I can look him up in a minute. CJ says, I will never live in California. And I saw another report too that says that Los Angeles, California, to be exact, has so many people leaving. It is ridiculous. And a lot of people, some of the comments that I've seen, they've cited a lot of stuff. Obviously, it's too expensive to live there. They cited that the illegal immigrants are taking over, because we know that Los Angeles, California, especially, they're very friendly and welcoming to illegal immigrants, as we saw Mayor Karen Bass crash out last summer over the ICE raids that took place. And so just a whole host of reasons as to why people can't afford to stay there. It's just a lot going on. And, you know, if Gavin Newsom gets in that White House, it's a wrap. It really is. John, how you doing? It says, didn't Obama say it would be fair for immigrants? It wouldn't be fair for immigrants to pay Black reparations. Yes. So they care more about immigrants than Black folks getting reparations, you know? And then some said, I think it was Mitch McConnell and even Jim Clyburn, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me, that Obama was, in a sense, a form of reparations. Brother Don, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. Corey, what's going on with you? Said the Democratic Party is absolutely horrible. Yes. That's what I said yesterday on Twitter. I said they hate Black Americans, and they just do. There's nobody, and I think that's kind of why they're mad with Nick Cannon, because him and Amber Rose said that the Democrats. Now she said the Republicans do like Black people. It's like, no, they don't. But they're mad because they said that the Democrats hate Black people, and it's like, well, where's the lie? Look how they treat Black people, and y'all mad because they spoke the truth out loud? Okay.
Well, my question is always is this: show me what the Democrats have done for Black people in the last 60 years. Of course, the liberal will come back and say, well, they gave us the voting rights at Lyndon B. Johnson and all this. Number one, Lyndon B. Johnson was one of the most corrupt and just decisive, just evil presidents that we've ever had. If you're up to this Trump, or I don't know why people think Trump is so evil. I mean, he hasn't done anything as close as what Lyndon Johnson has done. But they'll throw that up in your face, right? But you guys got to remember, what did Lyndon Johnson say in order to sign the voting rights bill? He had no choice, because all the Republicans voted for it. The moderate Democrats voted for it. Who was going against the civil rights movement the whole time? It was the Democratic Party. But see, they don't want you to remember that stuff. The Democratic Party did not want civil rights. The Democratic Party are the same party that in the Civil War, that before the Civil War, when they were arguing the Dred Scott decisions and all these things, here's some of the quotes that was said by segregationists and slave owners during the 1860s or 1850s. Well, who's going to pick the crops? Who's going to do the labor? Doesn't that sound familiar when we talk about illegals? If it was racist to say that, or a prejudice to say that back in 1850, some of the same rhetoric is being said today by Democratic liberals. Same playbook, if you ask me.
And the other thing too is, Donovan, and hello to everybody, they understand that explaining the Southern switch and all of that, it is confusing, right? If you don't slow down and really kind of break it down step by step, it is confusing. And like you said, the Democrats did not want civil rights at all. We know that it was also the Democrats that tripped up, our ancestors, when they were legislating, especially there in North Carolina. We had, a lot of Black men, because women really couldn't do it at all, but they were politicians and things. It was the Democrats that started with the KKK. They used that as a form of terror. And traditionally, Black folks were Republican, right? The party of Lincoln. And we know why we switched. It's starting with FDR, right? When he started the New Deal, we weren't included at first, but his wife's like, yeah, include them because they could vote because he was struggling. So we were included and so on and so forth. Like you said, then you bring in the Great Society and all these other things with Lyndon B. Johnson with the civil rights thing. And then those Democrats who, again, the Dixiecrats, that's why they called Joe Biden that, because he is from the party of the old Dixiecrats, right? Or the Democrats. So when they were hearing about the civil rights stuff, those Dixiecrats was like, man, screw you. We're leaving. And so they went to the Republican Party. So it's not like the Republican Party, the good ones, went to the Democrats, right? Some of those Democrats stayed, like Strom Thurmond, right? He was there until he croaked. So it's like, I know he was apologetic to some degree when he was getting ready.
Eastland. Yeah, him and Eastland. Eastland was a mother. Oof.
Right. All of them. So it's like they stayed. So you mean to tell me, and that's why I said it's very confusing if you don't really just kind of break it down. Oh, no, it wasn't the Democrats. Yes, the Democrats have a history. So the party didn't change altogether. Some people left, right? But some people stayed. But see, they know, again, most, and I'm not saying this about us. I just think most people, because I have to sit and kind of understand it myself. Like, oh, okay, I got it, right? So, but they want to call Nick Cannon a liar. Anyway, hey, Alex, how you doing? Said, I just don't understand why so many Black Americans didn't see that from the Democratic Party. Well, again, if you go back in history with that New Deal, you got to remember the New Deal came along after the Great Depression, where everybody was struggling and white folks were struggling, but Black people were really struggling. So we're going to get included in this New Deal where you could get help and all kind of stuff. You know, we thought, all right, maybe we should be Democrats. And that's kind of how it started. So yeah, King Shaw, and I see y'all talking about Willie D. Is he a shill? I didn't know that about Willie D. But you said that y'all saw him talking about the reparations for immigrants too. I didn't know Willie D was a Democratic shill. I see Uncle Luke out there. He's running for some office in Miami, and you know he wrote that. I didn't read it because I'm like, please. But he's taking Chili and Nick Cannon to task. Like, you mean, scarred Luke? You mean don't stop, get it, Luke? Huh? Okay, man. Thunder, how you doing? Says, in the sewers. Oh my God, this reminds me of a dystopian nightmare. Who remembers the movie Demolition Man? They were living in sewers and raiding the stores for food. This is frightening. Yeah. Again, those people just got driven underground because they ain't trying to go to jail. And a lot of them were already living there because, you have residents, and I understand both sides of it. I'm paying my property taxes. I have my nice home. I don't want to come outside and see no tents and RVs and boxes on the sidewalk. So I get both sides of it. But many residents are like, just solve the problem. And they said that Karen Bass, her approval rating is like 60%, which I think is probably lower than that. But it would be frustrating to see you come outside and you see all these homeless encampments, and they were there before Karen got there, but she's the mayor now, right? And then you see her running around crashing out for illegal immigrants, and it's like, man, fix this problem. All this money you giving to people who came over here illegally, and we got Black people coming up out of sewers. It's crazy. It makes absolutely no sense. Raven, how you doing? Long time no see. Says California is disgusting. I never forget seeing so many trash on the side of the roads. Yeah, there's a lot of homelessness out there. It really is. African Native, how you doing? Says many Black people think that's because they sit on a horse, they can talk down on Blacks, or Black politicians rather. Yeah, well, because they have been the brain, in a sense, of the Black community for a long time. And these shields, as I always say about Roland, I don't want to disrespect him. I think he's very smart, but I think he's been used as a tool of white supremacy to keep the rest of Black people on the plantation, right? A lot of Black people regard, and they still do regard him as, he knows what he's talking about. But then when you sit back and you dissect the nature of Roland, it's like, well, he's a shield. His job is to keep Black people asleep, and him and Han for the Democratic Party for absolutely nothing. And, I'd be surprised if he talks about Representative Jayapal wanting to give immigrants reparations, because that's not part of their talking points. Right? And let's see. Facts Not
Real
Feelings.
quick, do us a favor, you guys. Hit that like button. It's absolutely free. It helps with the algorithm. And it's absolutely free. Just go ahead and hit that like button for us.
Thank you. And Facts Not Feelings, how you doing? It says Black people in USA will not get help until USA collapses as a country. Watch and see. Oh yeah, it's already going on. If you know, you know. It's already happening as we speak. In Spain, today was like, yeah, USA, y'all can't use our airspace. You can't fly your planes through here. And Trump is like, well, we don't need it anyway. It's like, well, then why are you addressing it? So Spain is like, keep us out your foolishness. DB Walker was going on and says the Democrats are supporting a soft genocide of the Black America. You know what? I don't even think it's soft anymore. I think it's kind of like medium between soft and hard at this point. Yeah, you know, and that's very bold. Very bold. And I'm going to play this again because, like I said, I don't think people are really mad enough about this at all.
Jayapal lays it out really well when she talks about reparations.
And we also need offensive actions around prosecutions. We need real accountability because at the end of the day, the people that have been inflicting this harm need to be prosecuted. They need to be brought before us and they need to be held account for the trauma that they have created. And we are going to have some form of reparation for the kids and the families that have been traumatized through all of this.
I'm just gonna keep playing it throughout the thing. Go ahead.
Dimitri, I got a question for you. I got a question for you guys out there. Now, notice how she is outraged at, and listen to what she said. People have to be brought to task and this, that for illegal people that shouldn't be here to begin with. And number two, if you're illegal and you're running from the authorities, what do you expect is supposed to happen? They're just going to give you a note and say, meet us at the court later on today or something like, turn yourself in. So that's just my little thing like that. But did you guys notice she's been in office since 2019? How many congressional people, even her, let's just speak about her, Jayapal, how many statements did she make about George Floyd? How many statements did she make about Breonna Taylor? How many statements did any of these politicians make about Sandra Bland and all of these Black people that were brutalized, murdered, and killed? Ahmaud Marjorie in Georgia for doing absolutely nothing. How many statements did they use? They have the power of the press. This is why an elected official can't sue their constituents. You could basically outright lie on a politician and they can't sue you. And that's that was upheld in the Supreme Court in 1966 because they have a bully pulpit where they can refute everything you're saying. So how many politicians, based on what she just said, how many of them put it on the line and use their bully pulpit to say, yeah, Black people need reparations. This is an outrage. What happened here? Have you guys noticed that the Democratic Party, when it comes to Black atrocity, nothing is ever said?
Yeah, that's true. And Brother James, you know, you're saying I'm giving Mayor Brandon Johnson room to breathe. I mean, I don't have the ability. I hear what you're saying, and you know, shout out to Sister Jessica Jackson and Danny C and Zoe and all of them for all that they're doing, and you too, Brother James. But I say the best way to stick it to Brandon Johnson is to vote his black ass out. Excuse my French, but that's the best way to stick it to him. I mean, I could holler and scream all day long. We all can scream and holler, go to the city hall meetings, but the best way to prove a point to that sucker is to vote him out of office, right? Do him like Lori Lightfoot. Y'all didn't like what she had going on, and y'all made her one term. Do the same thing to him. He ain't special, you know, and the people that he's championing for, they can't vote for him. So that's the best way to send a message to him. If you really want to suffocate him, figuratively speaking, don't vote for him. Vote him out, make him one and done, and send him wherever he came from. You know, him and his funky mohawk. That's the best advice I could give, because I'm not going to keep on voting for something that ain't for me. Now, if Brandon Johnson get in there, again, that's not a me thing. That I don't live in Chicago, you right? So I think the best that y'all could do, and I'm going to do my part too. I just trust me, there's so much stuff to talk about it. I can't talk about it all, but I will as much as I can. But y'all need to wake the people up. That's what I tell people. I don't always talk about it here, but you know, different people I work with for whatever reason, I tell them you got to wake the people up around you. That is your job. Because like I said, especially with what's going on in Los Angeles, some of the brothers and sisters that I know, and I've known them for a while, I'm surprised when I see y'all out there in the streets, and a lot of people don't even know. They're like, what? The California Legislative Black Caucus, they did what? They sabotaged. They don't even know. So while I can sit up here, y'all got to get out there and say, did you know that Mayor Brandon Johnson has spent, in the city of Chicago, over $1 billion on illegal immigrants, to the tune of Black folks are having their property taxes raised in some cases to the tune of 133%. See, I don't live in Chicago, but I know the issues. So I get it. But y'all got to get out there and put your feet in the street and just have a 30-second conversation with people. Are you really going to vote for a man who's spending all that money and have these Venezuelans stand up at the city council meeting talking about you don't deserve no money because you lazy? See, a lot of people just don't know, because unfortunately, this is where we got to kick ourselves in the tailbone. A lot of us are sitting up around Tyler Perry and all his foolishness and all this low-hanging fruit, who doing this and that, and Cardi B and all that. That's what we involved in, but you don't even know what these suckers are doing to you that you elect. So we got to get out there and disseminate the information, because people just don't know. And it's part of their fault because they're apathetic, especially us as Black folks. We see that nothing's going to change. So why should I care? Let me go turn on Netflix and watch the degeneracy that Tyler Perry is putting out there. And then when he gets back in office and he continues to usher all the illegal immigrants in there and raise your taxes, then people get mad. So I can try to do my part, but y'all live there. That's all I'm saying.
And here's the sad thing. Jessica Jackson lived in, she's from Chicago originally, but she lived in Los Angeles for many years. I think over 20 something years, 30 years, I think over 30 years. And she saw what they did here in Los Angeles. What's going on in Chicago is not new. That blueprint happened in Los Angeles when they gentrified South Central. Thus, you don't see Black people in LA no more. They took the homes, raised the property taxes, gentrified the area. Remember, you guys all saw Boys in the Hood. Most of you guys saw Boys in the Hood. What did Furious say? He said, this is what's going on. We got to keep everything in our community Black. That was what Boys in the Hood came out in 1990. The blueprint hasn't changed. It just moved to Chicago. And now it's up in, not Seattle yet, but it's partly Seattle, but it's in Maryland now, I believe, in Virginia and places like that, Houston, Dallas. This is what they're doing. They're gentrifying us physically, and they're gentrifying us politically. Because guess what? When you don't have no seat at the table to make decisions on where all of this money is going, how many Latino council members have been caught on mic conspiring against Black neighborhoods and communities? Countless of them. And guess what? Nobody's recalling them, because they're doing the work of the Latino people. This is what's happening in our community. We're too busy trying to save everybody else. We're too busy. We can't even save ourselves. And now the best asset you're going to have in this country is your house. You can borrow against it. You can do all these things. You can't, unless you go to a payday loan type crap, which is bull, but you got a house. A third of all Black wealth was taken in 2008, like I said yesterday and previously. The blueprint to getting and taking away from Black people is to take their house. So what is Jessica Jackson and Danny C and them have been shouting about right there in Chicago, when the city uses and could raise your property tax 133% in 1 year, and you ain't got the money to pay?
Absolutely. I have worked up a sweat. I'm about to work up another one. Boo, you say Black Americans are obsessed with Latinos. I just don't understand why people just be lying for fun. At what point are Black Americans obsessed with Latinos? Well, let me ask you this, homie. Do you see Black Americans running around cosplaying Latinos, mariachiing, and all the other things? No. You see Latinos actually cosplaying Black Americans. Y'all don't be riding around in your lowriders with mariachi music bumping out of it. Y'all ride around with our stuff out of it, right? And I could be here forever, honestly, but we're not obsessed with you at all. But as far as what you said too, is y'all don't talk about reparations like hell you don't. You talk about reparations, you talk about you don't want Black Americans to have it, and y'all gotten with the Asian community and they formed a coalition against us getting it. So stop lying. See, you can stay here as long as you tell the truth, but if you keep lying, I'm gonna block you, because that's the type of time I'm on, to be honest with you. Mighty Black One, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. MC Fact, what's going on? It says the Democrats are the only ones that cast dissenting votes. You talking about for the civil rights movement? Yes, that's true. Easy, how you doing? Child of God, what's going on? It says LBJ administration deleted Malcolm X and MLK. Why doesn't anyone ever talk about that? Well, I mean, I don't know. I think that people do. I just think the conversation is that the government in general, right, has done that. So yeah, OWU, he says the Republicans are the fascist government from from the book 1984, and the Democrats are the fascist government from the book Brave New World. Boom. Yeah, you ain't lying. The Republicans, I think Stephen Miller and them, I wonder if that was his favorite book in high school, because man, it's almost like they took that book and just, started trying to legislate from 1984. It's bizarre, actually, right? So I do get that. Let's see. Let me skip down just a tiny bit. I didn't realize how far behind I am. Sky Gail Fisher, what's going on? It says we were sleeping and the immigrants weasel into the Democrat Party and has taken over. But you know what the crazy part though is? Latinos don't vote for the Democrats like that. They're about 50-50, sometimes a little bit less. It's Black Americans who vote for the Democrat more than any other group of people. But the Democrats, they do benefit and legislate for immigrants and everybody else outside of Black Americans. So even Latinos, like, with Jasmine Crockett or Kamala Harris, they would have been way more friendlier to the immigrant community or whatever, Latinos, and they didn't even vote for her, right? Or Kamala, and they voted for Trump even more so, even though he said, your ass is grass. When I get in there, they still voted for him. I ain't voted for Donald Trump. And then they was on the news crying when her husband got gaffled up. In fact, I saw where a soldier was deployed, and she's being deployed. Her daddy was being deported.
But then again, you got to ask yourself too, and I'm not saying this is in every situation, that when you've been in this country for 30 years and you do nothing to do the paperwork to legalize yourself, that's on you, homie.
I mean, I'm just saying, but there's supposed to be concessions made for that. You mean and you evil. Oh, they just kind of come over here to work. I couldn't just take myself to somebody else's country. I'm here to work. Damn the paperwork. I'm here to work. I'd have to line it up. But over here, people just trying to earn a living in the country. Well, so are we. What you think Americans is doing? There's American citizens who are borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, okay? But so they trying to work too. But I guess we supposed to say, well, forget what I got going on. People who coming over here illegally, let them come in. It's crazy. It's insanity. And, I think both parties are full of the stuff, honestly. But the Democrats, there's a special, they both got lunacy going on. But with them, it's really diabolical in the job that they are doing or they're trying to do on Black Americans. Don't believe what you see. I know that you having to pay higher taxes, but it's not because of illegal immigrants. It's because of the commercial buildings there downtown Chicago. They're just not paying their share. It's like, are you kidding me? So you give all this money to illegal immigrants, and I'm supposed to believe that's not where the money went? But see, that's the job. That's the job that they have done on us, and we just, okay.
Well, it's kind of hard to say that because, again, if you did your research, you would see how many businesses have fled Chicago. We're from California. Look at the blueprint again. California, the major businesses fled here years ago. We lost Boeing. We lost Lockheed. We lost McDonald's. All these great businesses that were here, they all flee because of the high taxes and stuff. So when they flee and they leave these commercial buildings empty, and there's no tax base coming from it, you're going to say it's the company's fault that isn't there anymore. So now the people have to raise their property taxes. I call BS on that. Call BS on that totally.
Yeah. Hey, Heather, how you doing? Says I agree, but we have to start putting that into context. Back then, the Dems had the ideology of the Republicans and vice versa until blacks and poor voted for FDR. Yeah, I mean, and I think most people will argue that they're both racist, right? Neither party, because if you think about it, if the Republicans, even back when we were Republicans, were so great, why did we leave? You know what I mean? Why did we leave to become Democrats if the Republicans were so wonderful? So neither party has treated us right back then and even to this day. Now, there is a call, obviously, and there has been for a long time to up your mighty nation, accomplish what you will, do for self, practice group economics and all that. That's what we should be doing. But I just know that I, in good consciousness, cannot go and vote for a party that is going to be talking about, reparations for illegal immigrants. I just, I'm like, get somebody else to do it. It just ain't gonna be me. Hey, 48 TCO, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. And thank you, Brother Samuel, for that. I don't think I knew about him at all. Maybe I knew him by face, but not name. So, condolences. Carmen, how you doing? It says both political parties do. Absolutely. Let's see. Skipping on down. MC Fact says, Yellow Willie D is kind of shilling. He was putting on a cape for Jasmine Crockett. Yeah, I didn't know that about, I don't follow Willie D. Like that. I really don't follow a lot of people like that. First class citizen, how you doing? Hope that you're doing well. Let's see. Albert Chill says, yes, Willie D be stepping fetching. What for the Democrats? Says even in his response yesterday, he approached it as Democrats didn't know what they were doing wrong. Messenger, are you for real? Yeah, no.
Are you sure your mind ain't playing tricks on you?
Hey, long time no see. Oh, you stupid. How you doing? Disney Diva? He says, hey guys, it's Marshawn. Yes, I hope you guys are doing good at Disneyland on birthday vacation. You always at Disneyland. I'm so
yeah, she's always, and she was like one of our first people tuning in and stuff like that.
Yeah, I see
hey, real quick, you guys, we've got 313 people in the chat, 179 likes. Do us this favor, please, 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 please. I will have Demetra stand up. Never mind, sit down, stay down. And just hit that like button for us. It's absolutely free.
Absolutely. And Teddy, how you doing? Says here are 5 black political parties in America: National Black Independent Political Party, Freedom Now Party, Black Panther Party, Peace and Freedom Party. There are more. Pick one and support. Yeah, I mean, we should be politically independent and pick somebody or whatever. But the Democrats and Republicans have proven that they are not for us. But unfortunately, we live in a 2-party system where it's the Democrats or the Republicans. But there's always the couch, right? A lot of people chose the couch during the election between Trump and Kamala, and a lot of people were mad about that. You gotta choose. No, I don't. I chose my ass on this couch. Okay, so that's also a political party. But yeah, we definitely should be exploring our options. And make them line up.
I got a question. I got a question for you guys out there as well. Why? Okay, it's because the Democrats stood on this. This is one of the major reasons why the Democrats lost. Kamala Harris, she lost because they stood on this immigration BS. It was a major factor in their loss, right? Why is it? Are they doubling down? Do they not have an education? The immigration issue cost them significant votes within the Democratic Party. Why do you think they're going back to this? I mean, again, when people show you who they are, believe them. They don't want to stand up for Americans. So here they are going and doubling down again for these immigrants. Why do you guys think that they're doing that?
Why the Democrats are doubling down for the immigrants?
Yeah, again, they lost because of the immigrants, but they're doing it again.
Because a lot of them are immigrants. Right? A lot of them are immigrants. Kamala, her mama, was an immigrant, or daddy. So a lot of them are immigrants or have immigrant parents or whatever. So I think that has a lot to do with it. And I think it's been said by a lot of people. I don't think people who, especially first generation immigrants, should be able to get into Congress. I think you need to have some blood in the soil for a minute, because you get in there and you do the foolishness like Jayapal, right? Sister Sunlight says, I hope she gets stopped in her tracks. Well, that's up to us. You know, like I said, there's a million things I could be talking about. I'm gonna try to talk about them all, but I'm gonna continue to talk about this because I just don't want this to go away like a lot of other things do, right? Shy Town Boy was going on, says, I love how Jayapal doesn't have this language for Black people who are brutalized or murdered, so-called progressive. Yeah, and again, a lot of that is on us because we just say, well, you know, we got to get Trump out of there. I'm a, you know, and it's like somebody said to me on one of my comments, with the SAVE Act, it's going to jeopardize a lot of Black politicians and Black Congress people's jobs. I said, well, they ain't doing nothing for us anyway, so who cares? So because they Black, they supposed to stay up in there and they ain't doing nothing for Black people. Who cares? Maybe the SAVE plan, if that's what it's doing, I haven't read it all or anything like that. But if that's part of it, then maybe, you know, it needs to pass. You know? And they keep talking about this voter ID stuff. It's like y'all gonna die on the hill of foolishness, huh? Just gonna call Black people stupid. Like most of us don't have an ID of some kind. Most of us do.
Yeah, ever since 9/11, people have gotten IDs. You can't even go into a person's workspace without them having that little ID tag on their necks to identify who they are while they're at work. So everybody's got some form of ID. But just like one of our, I'm sorry, I missed the thing here. Well, one of our jumped up super big. It's just like what one of our co-hosts said here today. I think what it is, the Democrats want this chaos to reign and blame everything on Trump because you have no other option. When you have a two-government system, a two-party system, you have no other choice but to vote one or the other or sit it out. And that's what I think is the plan. Hey, we're going to do for our immigrants because these Negroes have no other choice but to vote for us because Trump is horrible.
Like I said, I ain't afraid of no ghosts, which, you know, Trump might be one soon. But I'm not afraid of no ghosts. You know what I mean? They want us running around here weak in the knees and scared and shivering and shaking. Our people have survived the worst, right? We have survived the ultimate game and are surviving, okay? So we supposed to be scared now? Traditionally, our heart don't pump no Kool-Aid. We do what we got to do. So all of a sudden, that's that fear tactic, right? They want us to be scared. Oh, Trump, this, that, and the other. I would say, you know, and this maybe just me, and people are going to get mad, but I don't care. Even to this day, Trump and all the foolishness he got going on, the stuff that he has done, in a sense, to Black Americans, pales in comparison with the Democrats have done. Okay. Now I know they'll say, oh, he's getting rid of the museums and this and that, the books and the schools and the plaques and the so freaking what? Is he's getting rid of that kind of stuff? We don't need no museum to tell us who we are, or do we? Do we need a museum to give us knowledge of self? As I always say, and I'm very passionate about that. You need the white school system to teach your children who they are. They're not gonna do it right. But see, that's what they want us to be mad over. Oh, they taking this and they taking that. Oh, there were some Black ladies who was in the military that was up for promotion and Pete. So what? So what?
That's exactly what I said. So what? What's new?
Yeah, but you didn't have nothing to say when Biden had that one Black lady up there at the UN, voting no on stopping, putting a ceasefire with Palestine. She's like, well, no, we would love to do it at this time, but the United States, we just can't see a pathway forward. Y'all don't have a problem with none of that, right? So what I'm saying is these Black ladies that's in, was up for promotion in the military, what was they going to have them do? You know what I mean? And how does that benefit the rest of us? It doesn't. It's all symbolism. Quan says, I remember when LA was over 50% FBA, the gentrification has been happening for years. I think the LA fires were to finish the deal, especially with the World Cup and Olympics coming. You say, San Francisco, Oakland, no different. Yeah, I mean, you might be on to something because a lot of people are saying they're at a standstill with getting, any results on their properties and things like that. Karen Bass, for whatever reason, the governor, they kind of like dragging their feet. And that was some prime real estate too. And a lot of Black folks.
Yes, and they want that real estate. And here's something else, you guys. I want you guys to pay attention. You must pay attention to Chicago. That is the test bed, is if this thing is going to work to take Black properties and Black wealth. You got to watch Chicago. But at the same time, you need to watch the California primaries. In California, it isn't we don't have a Democratic primary and a Republican primary. It's just a general primary. So the top two candidates are the ones that are going to, face off. And right now, according to the polls here in California, 2 Republicans are at the top. And it is a good chance the Democrats will be closed out for the run for governor. So pay attention to that, because this is a super Democratic state. And if 2 Republicans win the primary to go to the general election, you're seeing a swift change and a rebellion within the state of California.
Yeah, I've seen that. And maybe California, they don't need nothing like the governor though, or Gray Davis, but maybe it needs a change. You know what I mean? Because at the rate it's going, California, as I always say when I go back, it's unrecognizable. Every time that I go back to California, I'm like, I don't recognize this place, and I'm born and raised in California. King Shaw says, Dimitri and Donovan, when are Black women going to follow their husband's interests like other cultures of women do? You talking about politically? I mean, the Black man votes just like the Black woman, so maybe she is following his lead. I don't know, but as I always say, the Black woman is going to follow the Black man when the Black man stand up and take control of the community. Stop making excuses, right? Stop engaging in the gender divide. Black women is Black women. That and the same thing for Black women. As soon as that stops and we say, hey, we need each other, that's when we'll do it. But, my answer is always going to be the same. Black man, stand up and take your rightful place. I know that a number has been done on y'all too, from the plantation, but y'all got to, shake it off and say, okay, Black woman, I'm going to need you to sit down. I got it, and really get it.
Here's the thing. What y'all need to do is follow the lead of Miss Sweet Talk. She's like down for her, she knows what she needs to do. So wait, friendly, fit, and beautiful. There you go.
Yes. Friendly, fit, beautiful. Okay. I can think for herself, as resourceful, right? And don't take no mess. See, y'all like to leave all that out. Cause I'm telling you right now, the women that allow men to push her over, and yes, y'all be out there with sassafras talking about, shut up, open your wallet. And y'all, and then when the minute she don't call you back, I don't know why she won't call me back. Why? I text her, she don't call me back. What did I do wrong? And she like, man, get off my damn line, you brokey. Anyway, let me shut up because I was doing too much. El Buddha, how you doing? Says Chicagoland's already refused to listen to the Nation of Islam, so they're getting what they deserve. Yeah. We'd all been better off if we listened to the Nation of Islam a long time ago, but, we hard-headed because we like, white people and everything that they say. Well, if nobody white then said, then it ain't coming. A white person could literally say the same thing somebody Black said, and Black folks run all over like a chicken with their head cut off. Did you hear what happened? Yeah, you fool. I heard the Black man say it years and years ago, but now that you heard it from the white man, now you want to go and preach it off like it's something original. It's like, shut up. So yeah, I agree with you. Let's see, skipping down. Free thinker, how you doing? It says the cycle or reciprocal. He says, even if you vote the amount, the damage is already done. America function in deceit. Yep, year after year, it's redundant evidence all over the United States, which is why we really should be doing for self, building up our own communities and things like that. Because as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, ain't nobody in the White House gonna do anything for Black people. We have to do for self. We have to. But y'all got to remember, via the Democrat Party, especially, they do not want Black people to do for ourselves at all. The church, they don't want us to do for self either. They don't want you to have knowledge of self, because the minute you wake up, you're going to be like, what is I doing up in this church? The pastor, he living good, but Sister So-and-so catching the bus, right? And she's sowing all these seeds of faith and money she ain't got and all this other stuff. So they can't afford, the Black church and the Black politician, the Democrats cannot afford for Black people to wake up, because when we do, we'll say, oh, well, why am I going to continue voting for a party that's not doing for me? Why am I going to continue going to a church that's telling me to sow a seed of faith as I'm sitting in the damn dark because I ain't paid the light bill because I used the seed of faith, that for the seed of faith when I should have been paying my light bill? But
did you hear about that? Did you hear about that pastor that wants parishioners to go into debt for the church?
That ain't new. And that ain't new. A lot of pastors, well, they don't care to, talk about some seed of faith, but the Bible also talking about throwing your pearl for the swines and not being foolish. It has a lot of those scriptures they just like to gloss over, because if you ask me to go into debt for the church, I'm gonna be like, nah, I don't think the Lord asked me to do none of the above, because I know the Lord also says, do not owe nobody. Okay, says that in the Bible, don't owe no man. So you mean to tell me I'm supposed to go into debt so that you can keep on stepping out of long cars and gators? I don't think so. I'm just saying. King Shaw says, I learned the word gentrification from boys in the hood. Yeah, and Furious was on to something, wasn't he? T. Austin was going on, says, what's going on? I say, talking to Mike, well, how you doing? And Brother Buckhorse in the building. Todd, how you doing? Says, hey, Dimitri and Donovan, working out like you, Miss D. Okay, come on now. I went to the gym today. I was busting a sweat. I was like, my God, man, I'm fat. To be sweating like that, I mean, it was just dripping and dripping, but that's good, right? You're supposed to sweat when you work out. Sean, how you doing? Said I came in late. They identified the sewer lady. Yes, she used to be a singer. They showed some of her videos. And again, her mom, I guess she speaks to her every day, but they said they can't get her to come home or whatever it is. She liked being in the sewer. I don't know. Obviously speaks to some mental health issues, right?
Well, you got to remember also, I mean, come on, you're in California, and I'm going to say this for me. I'm speaking for myself. It is very hard for me to leave California because at one time, you guys, not maybe now, when you said you lived in California, that meant something. That meant like, wow, you're in Hollywood, you're near all this great stuff. Now, when you say you live in California, people are like, are you okay? Can I get you a voucher? So it's sad.
Yeah.
So, and it's really hard to leave here because, especially, Dimitri, and the Inland Empire, we have everything we need within a 30-minute drive, so it's hard.
It is. You need 99 jobs to live there. You know what I mean? And it's sad. And there's a lot of people who move from California who really desperately want to get back there, right? But, especially when you're older, you ain't trying to go out there and be busting. And first of all, good luck getting a job. I've seen a lot of people talk about how they can't get jobs out there because the Latinos are out there gatekeeping. I'm going to do a video on that. I don't know if I'll do it tomorrow on the African Diaspora News channel, but I'm going to do it because I got a word for a lot of these sisters who talking about they can't get jobs in California. It's like, well, y'all voting for that. Y'all vote for it the most.
Right. And you got to think about this too. Another reason why they can't get jobs is because the older crowd is, if they're not Hispanic, they're taking those jobs to pay their mortgages and their car notes and things they need to do, which means our teens can't work at McDonald's. Because remember, here in California, to be a fast food worker, you're getting $20-something an hour. Which is, to me, a job that really isn't that skilled, but that's what you're getting to bust burgers. But here's the thing. When they passed that law, so many people lost their jobs because the owner of the franchise, you've got to look at the numbers. You can't afford to pay a crew of 16 people, $20-something an hour, and let's say a 40-hour week. So a lot of those people's jobs hours got slashed. And now you have the kiosks out and the AI robots. But you see how these Democrats come up with these great ideas? Oh, you're flipping burgers is not a career job. That is like a starter job for your teenagers to keep them, money in their pocket and stuff like that. But now where we're at, it's getting to a point where people need to work at McDonald's to help pay the mortgage.
Absolutely. Scoop, how you doing? Thank you so much for that love and appreciate you. Says, as a people, we don't have the same energy for everyone else like we do for each other. We should be constantly on anyone's bumper. That's going against what we are fighting for, full court press. I totally agree with you, but not in the way that we see these Democrats doing it, right? On Chili and Nick Cannon, entertainers of all people. They want to hold them more accountable than the politicians, especially the ones talking about we're going to get some reparations for immigrants. This is absolutely, it's insane, But thank you once again. Jeffrey, how you doing? Says, I live in Chicago, Austin neighborhood, and I just moved back from Addison, Illinois in September. It's real crazy. These people, mostly Venezuelans, was outside police station, city parks, everyone of them housing cars. Yeah, and Chicago helped them get it, and telling Black people, well, we can't do it for you right now. Smiler, how you doing? Says, excuse me, I have a problem with Ilhan Omar. She calls herself an American, therefore she is there to represent the Black American community as well, not just the Somali community. I totally agree with you. She should be representing everybody. But like I said, I'm not mad at Ilhan because that's what our politicians should be doing. Your Maxine Waters, your James Clyburns, and your Jasmine Crockett's and all of them cats, they should be doing something for us too, but they don't. They do for everybody else. So Ilhan Omar is like, well, my people's are Somali, so I'm going to help them. You know, I don't know what she's doing for everybody else, but she's not leaving her people out to dry like our people doing us, right? Ronnie, how you doing? He says, the non-Black Americans and Democrats are from hell. Well, damn. Tidbit, she says, Latinos, whites don't want you here either or other than to work for pennies and holding immigration over your head by the Democrats. Yeah, I mean, they making more money than where they are a lot of places, not just the Latinos, but a lot of immigrants. And so, yeah, them people, so a lot of those companies know they can underpay them and stuff until they get up on their feet and they have their own companies, right? Let's see, Angela, how you doing? Excuse me. So you're talking to Smiler. Yeah, Ilhan, I don't know what she's done for the Black community, but she's definitely doing for her own. Yeah, I didn't know that Willie D was a shield. And Timothy, how you doing? Says Willie D and D.L. Hughley have very similar views. Or now D.L. Hughley, he is a big time shield, but I wonder if he's gonna say anything, about this reparations thing. Miss Sweets, how you doing? I hope that you're doing well today. Let's see, who else haven't I seen? Pentanava. I hope I said that right, but I probably didn't. What you laughing for? What's so funny? What's so funny? King Shaw says Charles Barkley just turned into a Democrat shield now. He said immigrants built America. Yeah, he was a big time, Republican, from what I understand. Right? Brother James.
That money does not discriminate. That money does not discriminate.
Right. Brother Sammy says hearts should have been great. Oh, okay. I got you. Your comments. Got you. Let's see. Black Plumber, what's going on? Says because Trump is so bad, they think we don't have a choice. Well, they hold that over our head. If you don't vote for the Democrat, you're going to the plantation. It's like, well, show me where my plot of cotton is. Brittany, how you doing?
If not, I'm giving it a fish fry. Stop messing with me. Stop messing. Mr. Clyburn, when are we going to get reparations? No.
Original Skywalker, how you doing? Says this is de facto government. The government been gone since the 1800s rather. That's why all your history fake, money fake, immigrants, government ran by descent of an incubator. What? Orphan trained kids. Now I don't even know what all that means. Sounds very diabolical. Jackie, how you doing? Says we should stop her in her tracks. So you talking about oh girl. Arson, how you doing? Says, hey Dimitri and Donovan, how are you guys? We're doing well. Says, sorry, I never realized that you two are on days other than Sundays. Okay, so what is this? How did they get closer in 24 hours? Well, I mean, you think about it, the midterms are coming up. That's what they're putting on the table. She said it herself. You think she's going to stop at that comment? She's dead serious. They're closer to getting reparations than we are. So, I mean, at what point do we wake up and say, no, I'm not going to vote for that? She still needs Black votes. She has a heavy Black voter constituency in her district. But unfortunately, there's a lot of them that will vote for her. And they'll watch her fight to get illegal immigrants reparations, which I'm still just baffled by the whole, the notion of it, honestly.
Well, like they say here, Karen Bass giving those LA cards to the illegals there. They're money laundering money from the cartels down in South. This is my opinion. They're money laundering that money because government cannot just illy-willy give money without oversight, which is why $26 to $32 billion is missing in California because there was no oversight. Now, J.D. Vance and those boys are coming down in their fraud task force to find out. But how is Karen Bass, with L.A. being $1 billion in debt, able to just give 1,700 homeless Asians $1 million and 21,000 homeless Blacks nothing? They're money laundering.
I don't know, allegedly. Danini, I hope I said that right. How you doing? Thank you so much for the super sticker. Love and appreciate you for that. Yeah, brother James, I'm gonna keep talking about it. You know, like I said, ain't enough people talking about it for me. It is crazy. Mike, how you doing? So what's up, Demetra and Donovan and chat? My mom just turned 55 in March. Is a Democrat. I am finally, thank God, slowly waking her up, and she has been a staunch Democrat. It's not easy. You ain't lying.
Wait a minute. Stop right there. She made that sound like 55 is old. I'm 55.
It might. I'll be 55 in less than 2 weeks, or about 2 weeks at this point. But yeah, 55, we babies. But yeah, you keep waking her up, Mike. Keep waking her up. Let's see who else. I see I'm so behind. I apologize. Easy says, D, can you convince Donovan to do Jim Clyburn Negro spiritual? I think he just did it a minute ago, right? When he talking about the sloganizing. So yeah. Let's see. Saladin, what's going on with you? Long time no see. Hope that you're doing well. Ricardo, what's up? It says those museums contain our history along with what they've done to us. That's what they want to destroy, the artifacts of their failures. I'm gonna tell you something right now. My since I was knee high to a grasshopper, whatever the hell that means, my daddy has always taught me about the United States history, and I don't know why I was playing with my hair. And what they've done to us. I've always known who I was and am, because I had parents that taught me knowledge of self. So I don't understand what the problem is, why we can't teach our own children that. My daddy never sent any of his children to school to learn from the white school system about who we are. It never have. And I didn't send my daughter to the white school system so she can learn knowledge of self. You should be teaching that at home. If you never seen an artifact about anything, you should still know the history, right? That's why I always encourage people to continue having conversations with our elders in our community, because they're going to pass away, and they're going to pass away with the stories, right? The artifacts. They got the artifacts here. You don't need to look at a picture on the wall to know. I mean, like I said, I've spoken to my father a lot, obviously, and I've heard the stories about his grandparents and great grandparents and my grand. So I've heard these stories. So I didn't need to go to a museum to hear any of that. So I hear what you're saying. Is it diabolical what they're doing? Yeah, but they know a lot of us is going to get caught up on the low hanging fruit of what they're doing, the symbolism of it. But like I said, if you got the knowledge in your head and in your heart, they can't take that from you, can they? There's a lot of things I'd rather do than get on the internet and cry about these white folks and them taking something away from us. And as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, if they could take it from you, was it ever really yours? See, we don't deal with that enough. How you taking something from me that belongs to me? See, when we build our own museums, 100% our money and input and all that, we ain't got to worry about them taking it away. But anytime you are getting something from somebody else and they pull the rug from under you, then what can you do about it? See, that's the part of the do for self, up your imagination, accomplish what you will, build your own things outside of what white people are doing, like the NAACP. We cry about the NAACP, but it started with white people. So was that really for colored people? It's for other colors of people, but it ain't for black folks. I know colored is what they called us, but how we starting organizations with white people? What like Malcolm X said, we do you ever wonder what's in it for them to be sitting at the helms of our organizations? Like, why they got to be all up in the inner workings of what we doing?
Wasn't that a white woman that started that organization up in Minnesota where the scamming was caught?
Or she didn't start the NAACP, but she was the president there.
No. The Somali scamming thing. Wasn't that a white woman that started that?
Yeah, it was a white woman, but they don't say. But see, the Somalis got to learn that the hard way. Y'all getting in bed with these white people, and they leave you holding the bag. That white lady probably out of prison already in the Bahamas some damn where. No filter. How you doing? Says the Democrats are in self-destruction mode. Yeah, we need to help them get there a little bit faster. Mama Deb, what's going on? Says, I hope so. We cannot let Gavin win. I definitely think he gonna be on the ticket for sure. Solomon, how you doing? Says 70% of U.S. fertilizer comes to the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, they didn't think that one through, did they? There's a lot of things that's coming through that strait that is like, oops. Ew.
I don't want to gross you guys out, but when you can't get the fertilizer you need to grow your crops, you know what they do in North Korea and parts of China? They use human waste.
Glad I'm not eating nothing out of China, I don't think. Timothy says Dr. Claude Anderson is looking like a prophet right now. Yeah, I mean, and it's prophecy, and a lot of it is common sense. You vote against you vote against your interests, eventually it's going to come back to bite you. And I think that's really what Dr. Claude Anderson has been trying to warn us, stop doing that. And to this day, we're fighting to continue doing it.
Well, you know what I really think the problem is? People are worried about how they're going to be affected. We should be fighting for the future, for your kids and your grandkids. We're supposed to leave this earth and our children in a better situation than what we had. I'm not saying spoil your kids, but you're supposed to make sure that there's going to be a future for them. But when you're fighting for other people's children, how does that affect your children if you're fighting for other people's children first?
Right. But we've been conditioned to do that. And that's why we do it, right? Yeah, the credit card is crazy. Tradina, what's going on? She says, praying the Psalms daily. It says hourly, if needed for our precious people. Yeah, we should continue to pray. Mom Deb says, yes, California used to be the most beautiful state in the country. I don't recognize it at all, honestly. Sean, he says all these rich
California looks like Escape from New York. That's what California looks like now.
Yeah, it's on. I don't recognize it, to be honest. Born and raised in California my whole life, with the sans the last 5 years. I don't recognize it. Sean says all these rich blacks are controlled by people power. Why they can't build schools, supermarkets, recreation centers, and laundromats? They cannot. They cannot help black people. They can only get help themselves. They can pretend, but they can't help us to the degree of really being a game changer. Like I said, if I had that kind of money, that's what I would be doing. I always ask Allah, give it to me. I'll do the right thing with it. J Doe, how you doing? Says I wouldn't live in California. I can't wait to go back. Like I said, it's got a lot of things need to change. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but yeah, a lot of people don't want to go back, but I'd like to go back to California. There's no place like it. One Who Cares says self-checkout are not helping. My father spoke on this years ago, and here we are. Yeah, and then we got people, the society in general is fighting to continue to make humans extinct. By ushering in AI. It's the craziest thing. Herschel says that's still outrageous to me. They convinced the government working at a fast food restaurant is somehow a career decision. That was my job after school. That was my job during high school as well. But I will say this, I think it's a little bit more to it than, it's a career. There's just the other jobs that are out there that you could work and take care of yourself and, mortgage and all this other stuff. Those don't exist anymore. A lot of those jobs are gone. And you also have to account for the cost of living, right? Back in the day, a person could graduate high school and get a good job and retire from that job without having to go amass a whole bunch of student loan debt. They could get these jobs. So now you have these fast food jobs or whatever it is. Yeah, you got a lot of adults working there. And I don't think a lot of them want to work there. It's like, hell, I got to work here. You mean to tell me I could flip a burger for $20 an hour, whatever it is? Yeah, it sounds like the move, because I can't go nowhere else and make that kind of money. I got a wife and kids, that mortgage and all kind of stuff. So it's a nasty a cycle of events.
Yeah, and it's not even just that. Look at the stock market. All these people lost their money on their 401k. So a lot of these seniors have to come back into the workforce because their money was legally stolen, being gambled on Wall Street.
Yeah. So that's why I said that there's levels to that, Ernest, how you doing? Says I think that Black generosity and kindness and willingness to help others, even strangers, have been taken advantage of and been misused to the point of no return. Enough is enough. It's us or nothing. That's the way it has to be.
Yes.
And we have to start talking like that.
Yeah. And again, look at the generosity that we are the only ones in the diaspora that is like, oh, welcoming. And then we let our brothers and sisters within the diaspora come to this country. And what do they do to us? They talk bad about us, this, that. Well, you black men are lazy, whatever. But if it wasn't for us fighting in the civil rights movement, they couldn't even be here. See, so, again, that's our nature of doing that. But we're waking up. We're waking up now.
Yeah, and Stacy says, I've been hearing for years that they don't hire Black people in California. The Latinos took over the low-wage job market, and they don't hire Blacks. Part of why so many homeless in LA are Black. That is true, which is why we as Black folks need to build our own stuff. because yeah, they do that. They've been gatekeeping for a very long time. I tell y'all my stories all the time of working at Frito-Lay. And they was always with the stuff, trying to lie on black people, get black people fired, and eat white people too. Man, they did a number on this Asian cat. He wasn't there that long, and they lied on him, and he got on out of there. They tried to lie on me. I was like, I prove I did it. I said, she flat out lied on me, right? So that's the kind of stuff they do so they can get their homies up in there. But yeah, they don't want a Negro doing nothing. I'm gonna tell you right now, I learned about the Latinos in California a long time ago, when I was like 22 years old, had my own apartment and things like that. And I needed to wash clothes. So I went to a laundromat and I was waiting for a dryer. And I was next up on the dryer. Do you know that this Mexican dude waited for he blocked me and waved over a Latina and let her have the dryer. And that's when I said, oh, okay. That's how they get down out here. So I've been knew that's how they get down. Now I could have been indignant or whatever it is. I just let it slide, but it was very eye-opening. It's like, okay, at all costs, they gonna say F you blacks, and we're gonna look out for our own people, and that's what we should be doing. But see, had I did that to them, it would have been a problem. And as I always tell y'all, my dad especially, y'all know he's gone on now, but he had a lot of issues with Latinos too. I'll tell y'all a story real quick. One time what had happened was, my daddy was a mechanic. And so my daddy would go to pick parts a lot to get, car parts and things like that. So, when you leave pick apart, especially if you take your car, and I don't think you can take your car anymore. It depends. So they have to check your trunk and things like that to make sure you ain't really stole nothing up out of there. So he was waiting for the security guard or whatever to come check his car. And then there was a Mexican behind him honking and honking and honking, being impatient. So my dad was like, I don't know what he's tripping on. I can't leave until they check my car. So the Mexican dude was impatient and he tried to go around my dad and fit through it, and he scratched my daddy car up. And so then when he backed up, he scratched his car out again. So he said the Mexican dude got all stupid and was talking crazy and stuff. So my dad said he popped his trunk, got his tire iron, and he wore his ass out. And then he said the security guard came running over there. He was Mexican too, came running over there. Wait. He's like, no, don't tell me to wait. You seen this dude acting stupid, scratched my vehicle up, and then got to talking greasy. And then when I took this tire iron out and whooped his ass, now y'all want to say something to me? That's just one of many stories. Like, they really have no respect for black people, especially in California at all. It's like, to the point, man, I got stories. I'll tell y'all another story. I could say I could write a book on the relationship between blacks and Mexicans in California. I might have told y'all this once before, but my daughter was 7 years old. I went to go get a key made at this place, and there was two Mexican ladies standing right next to me, one older and one was her daughter. So the Mexican mama, she kept on like trying to push me out the way as I'm trying to pay for getting my key made. And so I said, excuse me, right? And so she got on, her and the daughter, whatever. I had a headache, like a big giant headache, so I wasn't really tripping with her. So I moved over to the side after I paid, waiting for the lady to give me my key. Do you know that lady walked out the store, lady daughter, and said, next time, show some respect, bitch? When I tell you that headache got the best of me, I walked up on her. I said, what did you say to me? She looked. I was like, oh, you wasn't expecting that, huh? And so her mom was like, oh, no. She had her two little kids with her. I said, you got your kids with you? I said, what if I just beat your ass right here for calling me a bitch? And she didn't say nothing. So I calmed down because I saw my daughter, and my daughter was like, so I followed her outside. I said, now call me a bitch now. She wouldn't do it. So I saw her glasses was sliding up off of her face, and I took my hands and I pushed her glasses back. And I said, next time you be careful who you call a bitch. I said, today gonna be your lucky day. I said, I'm not gonna mess you up because your mama, who is stupid, is there and your children are there. I said, but you might want to be very careful because there's a lot of us who don't like to be called a bitch. And she left, shaped like a potato and everything. Anyway, like I said, I could write books on the foolishness that they do. And they'll try you. They will try you all day long because they have learned from the oppressor that, oh, black people ain't this. We can talk to them. And then when you get your ass whooped, then it's like, wow. They didn't tell us that part. Yeah, we do whoop ass. We do. So let's see. Daryl, how you doing? Says, in spite of it all, Black people will still vote for Democrats, vote blue no matter who, until they no longer need you. Yep. It's sad. Hey, Rose, how you doing? Don't need no man. Stop telling me I do. What's going on with you? I know we're terribly behind. I'm just going to say hello to everybody. Godspeed, what's going on with you? I'm going to go all the way to the bottom because I really didn't realize how far behind we were. Yeah, Buck Horse, I'm telling you, I got stories. Now, I will say that on the flip side of that, you know, I got some Latino homies and they, you know, been nice and helped me out and things like that or whatever, but they just don't have a respect for Black people at all. And unfortunately for Black Americans, we are always having to like fight for respect. It's like, listen, you ain't got to respect me, but don't disrespect me. See, those are two different conversations right there. I'm not asking you to bow down to me or nothing like that. But when you cross the line and you disrespectful, that's a whole different story.
But I don't know if you guys have been watching the show, but some of you guys remember within the Latin culture, it doesn't matter if you're Puerto Rican, it doesn't matter if you're Mexican, it doesn't matter if you're Cuban, it doesn't matter if you're Venezuelan. There's a term that they use, make the race better. It's a form of racism within their culture. And because they have that racism in their country and in their culture, when they migrate from this little poor ass country that they come from, and then they see you here and the propaganda that America throws out about Blacks being gangsters and criminals and all this other stuff, what kind of attitude do you think they take when they get here? This is why we got to get back to the basics and start making these people believers again.
Yeah, you know, like I said, just leave us alone. How about that? Leave us alone because, as I said, Black Americans, we not perfect. We got a lot of work to do, but we ain't out there messing with people like that. We're not. We want to exist. We want to be able to live in our communities. We want to just be able to do our Black stuff without people, you know, doing too much. But it's like I said, we always have to fight against disrespect, because I don't care if you respect me, but I do care if you disrespect me, right? Like I said, when I was in that store, lady, do you think I'm gonna let you call me a B word when my daughter standing right there and I've done nothing to your mama? Your mama tried to disrespect me and push me out the way and I wasn't done with my transaction. See, if I didn't have no sense, your mama could have called it too. But I saw she was stupid and she led you into being stupid, right? And I'm like, who calls somebody a bitch that they don't know? Like all up in front in the store, like, first of all, you shaped like a roly-poly, and I know you ain't about that life, okay? You was talking big stuff like you was really about to just handle business, okay? So I had a lot going on through my mind, but I was like, yeah, I ain't gonna let that ride. Only reason why I didn't catch a case is because my baby was standing.
And now when everybody comes up with and disrespects mama, your baby defending mama.
I mean, for me, she should have just told her mama, hey, back up off of that lady, right? You doing too much. You know, we don't know this lady. And first of all, why is you touching me? Okay. I don't know you for, and I'm supposed to just move over. Oh, okay. Well, damn what I'm here for. Let Mrs. Potato Head, you know, just do what she got to do. You know, both of them look like some Idaho potatoes.
Mm-hmm. Hey, real quick, Don P says, in the past 4 months, over 500,000 Black men have lost their jobs. Now, I want you guys to put this together. A year ago, over 400,000 Black women had lost their jobs within these so-called job reports, whatever it is. Now, allegedly, 500,000 Black men have lost their jobs. So let me get this straight. Donovan is being paranoid when I was throwing out these numbers saying that they are systematically gentrifying us and taking away our wealth slowly but surely. But what? Jay-Z, he a billionaire. He a billionaire. You take a few Black people that are doing well, and that represents all of Blacks in the United States? No. If you lose your job and you haven't paid for your house, guess what's going next? It's going to be your damn house. How are you going to make your car note? Do you guys know? And I got this from the African Diaspora News Channel app, Brother Phil Scott, big ups. Do you guys know the median payment of a car note is $800 a month? Now, I haven't bought a car in a long time. That blew me away. That blew me. I would never pay $1,000 a month or $800 for a car. Never.
Listen, $800 is just the car payment. Never mind the insurance. You got full coverage. And you know, you live in some place like Houston, Texas, the insurance is stupid, right? And when I moved out here the first time, I said, why is the insurance is higher than California? They said because of your border state. California is too, but you know, it's a border state. And she said people come over here illegally and they don't have licenses and they be running into people's cars uninsured. And so the insurance company is like, we're not going to eat that. Right. And so that's why I've always carried uninsured motorists, you know, even to this day because of stuff like that. But yeah, $800 for a car payment. So what if you need a car? Even a used car payments are high. It's because of the interest rate, you know. So yeah, that's where we are, you know. But black men have always been the most unemployed outside of black youth, right? Have always been the most unemployed. So that's why when I was hearing about, you know, black women, oh, they're all just black women, which sucks, right? Anybody lose their job. I've lost a job before, but it's like y'all acting like the black man is just happy and working every damn where. He's also lost jobs, but that's what they do. And this is the playbook of the Democrat Party. We gonna big up the black woman. She's the backbone. Oh, she's this and she's that. Because I've always heard a lot of black men complain about the programs and things like that black women get, but black men not so much. You know, Kamala. Well, let's give Kamala a little credit. She wanted to do the black man plan. You know, give y'all a little weed incentives and things like that. But she included everybody else. But outside of that, yeah, the Democrats would make it seem like the black woman on her own, child. That black man, he ain't nothing. You know, but it's like black men lost their jobs too. Why y'all just highlighting black women? And unfortunately, like I said, and somebody else said, yeah, the black woman, she fall for all that foolishness. And now she hollering on the internet talking about how she lost her damn job. It's like, well, you keep voting for it. You allow them people to pat you on the head, calling you the backbone of the Democratic Party, and you ain't got nothing to show for it. That's insanity. It is. You know, and Facts and Feelings says the reason why some people car payments are so high is because of the American credit system, which was designed to charge blacks more for the same purchase. That is true in regarding house as well. Jay Money, how you doing? Says selling us out for marijuana is crazy work. Yeah, they said give the Negro some weed.
And we're going to work on your criminal background behaviors and all that other stuff. You know, we're always associated with criminality. See?
Yeah,
and degeneracy. We're always associated with that stuff.
What does Van Jones say? Mamala, thank you so much. That was a love letter to black men. Mamala's like, you don't shut your sassy self up.
But, you know, but the funny thing is, you know, a lot of our older elders are starting to speak up. How many of you guys heard what Shaka Khan said? And all these young girls just came for her. She was saying, you know, it's like Luther Vandross. So see, one thing about black folks that I like and about our culture that I like, yeah, we want the girl look a certain way, whatever that does. But when you got a certain talent, you could be a Luther Vandross, big or small. Luther ain't got to dance. He ain't got to do all this other stuff. He could just stand there and sing. Shaka Khan, stand there and sing. Erykah Badu, she could just stand there and sing. And we appreciate that. And what Shaka Khan was saying is to compensate for the lack of the talent or the voice or whatever these girls are doing, which I agreed with. You know, she didn't say nothing that was, to me, super mean. But look at what feminism has done. You can't say anything to these young people without them taking it to the left field.
And you know what I say to that, Donovan? See, I'm about to be 55 and I'm really getting like Shaka Khan and them. I don't give a damn, okay? I know my hair looking kind of crazy right now, but I don't care. Listen, I don't give a damn. Shaka Khan was right. Back in the day, yeah, you know, Shaka Khan, she wore some cute little things or whatever, but Shaka Khan could sing. Shaka Khan hits notes that ain't even registered no damn where, right? So to her point, yeah, you used to have talent. And back in the day, you had to be a triple threat. You had to be able to act, sing, and dance. Now all you got to do is twerk.
Remember Troop on Arsenio Hall? That's why they were on the show so much. They were going hard.
Yeah, but like you said, you mad at Shaka Khan, who is an elder at this point, because she telling the truth. If I was Shaka Khan, I'd be like, I don't give a damn what you say. I'm gonna speak the truth no matter who like it. A lot of you broads out there, see, I'm getting a little too spicy. Y'all can't sing, you can't dance. All you do is twerk and stick your tongue out, roll around naked everywhere you go. You know, and they paying you money to do it. And I understand why they paying you money to do it, because they know that a lot of these other silly parents out there will let these kids sit up and watch and listen to all kind of degeneracy, don't care what they listening to. So they know those, filthy women will influence your daughters because you too stupid to monitor what they're inculcating every day. That's why they pay Cardi B and them all that kind of money. They don't pay them that money because it's talented. Hell, I could do that. Ow. I mean, no shade to her. She getting her money, right? I could do that. But back in the day, you had to be able to hit a note, But the older women, see, what they're trying to do, Donovan, is these young, silly women, they just, shut up. See, because that's what I do, right? I'm big auntie around here, okay? I said what I said. I'm not scared of you, right? My daughter tell you the same thing. She's 33 years old. I'm not going to bite my tongue. And that's where the older women need to get back to. We're not scared of y'all. That's why y'all having a rodeo, changing the dress code, because some of y'all too damn stupid to put some clothes on because you're holding your mamas and your aunties and your grandmama hostage with your emotional selves. You can't say nothing to you. So you out there butt naked, running around and having people having to not take their children to cover their eyes and all kind of stuff because you're too stupid to put some clothes on. Everybody don't want to see that. Right? And what you out there showing, it ain't original. And most of y'all, see, I'm about to get in trouble. You done went to the DR and purchased it. So what you got ain't special. You know what's special is for a man or anybody to wonder, or, what you got going on. You advertising everything you got. And you got a butt. You got boobs. So you ain't special. Will you hook a man? Yes. You'll hook a man, but will you keep him on the hook? Because see, one thing I know about fishing, which I've gone a few times, is once the fish eats the bait and he get away, he ain't coming back to no empty hook. So when you a woman and you out there and you naked, you are a empty hook. You don't have nothing else to keep a man there if that's what you're doing it for. And that's the other silly thing. Well, we ain't out here just like this for no man. Well, who you doing it for? Because you could be naked in your house by yourself. So who are you doing this for? Other women? That's a different conversation. Okay. But so what I'm saying is Shaka Khan is an elder who should be listened to. She's been here. She's got experience. She's seen some things. She understands some things. See, wise people know how to take advice from people who've already gone through it and say, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna avoid the pitfalls. My grandmother, who was born in 1919, told my auntie, if you use meat to catch a man, you're gonna wind up with a dog. Put some clothes on. Put some clothes on. Right? So we got to get back to being able to say those things. But I'm telling you, mamas and aunties and grandmas, stop being scared of these kids. That's what's wrong with them. They out there doing foolishness. I mean, having a rodeo and implement a dress code because you stupid, it's embarrassing.
Or let's reverse that. If a man was dressing the way and got his little, what do you call it? 2-minute project is swinging in the wind, women would be appalled, especially with children around. You got grown women going to a family-friendly event that children are known to be there, and you're going to dress like you're going to the strip club. So I agree with that. But Shaka Khan, the respect of, and I know people say, well, she dressed really risque. That risque to them, that Demetra, risque to Shaka Khan's generation was not having go-go boots on. You didn't have the knee-high stockings on and the slip. That was risque, showing your slip. You can't antiquate the two. And here's a woman who has sold millions of records, known worldwide. And here's the one thing that these women keep forgetting. Shaka Khan is in her 70s. She looks better than a lot of the women that are in their 30s. This is a naturally, from Chicago, naturally beautiful, talented woman who's been there, done that. She's done the rehab stuff, and she's been there. Now she's the grandma. Now she's trying to tell them, hey, where's the talent? Where's the talent? You don't need, when you're really talented, you don't need to take off your clothes.
Yeah, but so like I said, I wish that these older women would not apologize, and I know that they don't, but say what you need to say. We know like Monique, She called, they tried to drag and cancel her because she said, please stop going out the house with bonnets on. I didn't think that was an argument. I would have thought that would have been, you know what, you right. It does look a hot ass mess going out the house with bonnets and house shoes and pajamas on. Look like you rolled out of bed and ain't washed your behind at all. That's what I think when I see people out there with pajamas and bonnets and house shoes on. I'm like, I know damn well your ass didn't see no soap or water today.
Demetra, I was at the thing today. I was embarrassed. A girl came in there with her bonnet on and she had the pajama clothes on, and I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed for myself. For the race, I was embarrassed.
Yeah, but we need to get back to that. No, ma'am. That's why I said we need no, ma'am people at the doors, right? And no, ma'am greeter at Walmart. No, ma'am. No, you're not coming in here like that. No, sir. You got the remember back in the day, no shirt, no shoes, no shirt, no service. We got to get back to that. You coming in here looking any old kind of way. You can't. We don't need your money that bad, ma'am. Sir. No. Arson, thank you so much for that. Love and appreciate you. Says, let me address a popular comment. The immigrants in politics ignoring FBA actually follow an agenda. Plenty of popular FBAs already selling you out. Yeah. The immigrants, they trying to get their people in, you know, and legislate for their people. Again, I'm not mad at them. I'm more mad at us for continuing to vote for that. And that's not hating immigrants, right? I know plenty of immigrants. And I will tell you one thing, the immigrants I know, they don't like all this illegal immigration. They don't like it at all because they like, we have to come over here and do it the right way, you know? So, yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, the average time to be a U.S. citizen coming in as an immigrant is about 11 years. It takes 11 years. And one of the requirements is you must learn English. Go look up the videos of Obama, Clinton, Bush, all of them that talked about immigration, no matter what side of the party it was in the 90s. And it's still a requirement, is to learn English. I was at the store today, and there was a dude, because I'm in California, but it's a little bit different here. How are you in my country and you can't even speak broken English? But Donovan could go to the DR and I could speak at least broken Spanish. But you in my country asking me if I speak Espanol. What?
And you understand broken Spanish too in DR. Ay papi, ay papi, ay papi. PS Corporation, you say when they came, yeah, I didn't understand that. When they came from Felicia Rashad, Claire Huxtable, Black America's mom, I knew then we were cooking. I mad at Queen Mother Felicia Rashad for saying put some clothes on. Why did that become an argument? I was so confused.
Wait. Put some clothes on at Howard University, one of the Boulay and one of our so-called Black leading schools. She said when she went to Howard University and saw how the women were walking and boys were walking around at Howard University. Wait a minute, Howard. Kamala Harris went there. Anyway, you guys get my point when I did that, right? Howard University. This wasn't at RCC. This wasn't at San Bernardino Valley. This was at the prestigious Howard University. They're walking around like that, and they came for her.
Yeah, but then the other problem too is, Donovan, you have somebody like Maxine Waters, who's a great grandmama, talking about the audacity of WAP. I just think it's great. See, that was your moment to say, listen, Megan, I'm sure the song is, a great song. I wouldn't prefer to listen to that. I can't listen to that around my grandbabies. That's a different time, I understand, but no, I can't co-sign WAP. And Maxine, what is you doing listening to WAP? But see, again, that's letting the younger generation, I'm not saying they can't lead, they can, but Maxine, you know better. You invented the slip, okay? You invented all of that. And yet you sitting up there talking about, I just think it's great, the audacity of WAP. You were never supposed to relinquish your queen motherhood to Megan Thee Stallion. That would have been a teaching moment. I don't know if I couldn't imagine my grandmama talking about the audacity. I just think it's great. And I don't know what my grandmama was doing, but shit, I didn't know. My grandmamas didn't act a fool and do all kind. You know, we never, Donovan, we don't know what our grandparents was doing or our mamas because that wasn't your business, right?
Well, put it like this. My one grandmother on my daddy's side, she had a child every other year from the time she was 14 up until she was in her, I think, 46. Married, though. She was married.
I'm about to say the same man. Don't put it out there like your grandma was like, ow, ow, ow.
He was married, though. But the point is, back in those days, you don't know what they were doing.
What's a paw? I'm scared to ask Tyrone. What's a paw? I know WAP. I know DOP. Okay. But what's a paw? Angela, how you doing? Says, when I was in college at HBCU, we dressed professionally. I think the students today are imitating what the Caucasian school do. You know what? My dad used to always say that. He says it was a time that we didn't see Black women do the things, not out in the open anyway, or dress the way they did. He said it was almost rare. But he said these Black women, I'm going to tell you, my daddy gone, he would always say you can't tell the difference between a housewife and a hoe nowadays.
Well, you know what? I kind of agree with that. Black Greeks. Not saying there weren't no Black Greeks in that area, but I'm just saying to emulate what the white folks are doing. And how many of you guys remember the vice presidency's residency? Who invited the Howard University students and the HBCU students there? And they were playing Cardi B and twerking in the vice president's residence. Kamala Harris invited these people, and these are like the top students of these HBCU universities, and they were all over there like they were at a house party.
Yeah, so, you know, for me personally, before we leave, I'm just really looking forward to us bringing decency back. It's almost like decency is a dirty word. You know what I mean? I'm looking forward to bringing that back. And as I always say, it's up to us, Donovan. It's up to our generation to try as best we can, is to instill something in the next generation and say, hey, we got to be appropriate. We got to be decent in the way we think, the way we speak, the way we dress, all of that, because we are the standard, right? Black folks are the standard. People ain't trying to be like everybody else. They're trying to be like us. And you even notice even the degeneracy. They copy our degeneracy. As I always say, you think I'm lying. Look at gay white dudes. Gay white dudes ain't out there acting like June Cleaver. They out there acting like Boom Quisha. Girl, they emulating that. I'm like, all the Black women you can emulate. Why not somebody like, Felicia Rashad? But they wearing bonnets. I'm like, out of all the things y'all could cosplay from Black folks, you want to cosplay a bonnet? Okay. So yeah, I can't wait till we really bring decency back. And it's not all of us. There's a lot of us who are decent. Unfortunately, the indecency and the degeneracy, it gets most of the conversation, but it's enough of people doing it for it to deserve a conversation, I would say. So anyway, we're going to get out of here, but I will be back with you all on the African Diaspora News Channel, 11 a.m. Central Time. Then, of course, I'll be back with y'all 5 p.m. Central Time on this channel. Go ahead.
And before we go, Demetra, don't forget to remind them where the African Diaspora News Channel folks will be at in May and all those other spots. Please come out if you guys are in that local community. Demetra will put it up just before we leave. And also, don't forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app, where you get, again, additional things. The Afro AI bot. I love it. I love it. I love it. But here you go. The Ohio Black Expo. Demetra K will be there, and the News Channel crew, special guests, and they will have a nice little symposium, and you can meet Demetra K. Fellas, if you think this woman is gorgeous, and she is, but remember, you're only seeing her from the top up. Go see her in person.
And that's what you gonna see. Okay, I'm gonna have me a tablecloth on. I don't even know how I dress when I be out there in them streets. You ain't gonna see Glow the Dean's goods. You sure won't. I would be dressed from the neck down. Okay, all you gonna see is my head. How you doing? We'll also be in Toronto, Canada as well. July 25th. If you want to get tickets, africandiasporanews.org/Canada, africandiasporanews.org. Canada. Anyway, y'all, we love and appreciate every last one of y'all. So again, see me tomorrow on the African Diaspora News Channel. It would be my pleasure to continue having a conversation with you. I'm gonna be outside with a lot of clothes on per usual. Okay, y'all wouldn't want
to. But that don't stop the bump. But that don't stop the bump.
Okay, I'm gonna have it's gonna be a tablecloth all the way around. Okay, because you're focused on what I'm saying. Okay. Anyway, I love you all. Peace.